Good morning everyone, I'm Chris Sarra and I'm delighted to join you on this occasion of the Akatea NATSIPA 2018 Conference on Education. I'm so sorry that I can't be with you. I remember the first forum that we had on the grounds of Waitangi, and it was a moment of great joy for me just to be there and to meet with colleagues and Maori people with whom I fell in love, and so I have a great sense of love and sadness that I can't be with you on those grounds today. That said, you will understand why I can't be there. Dion will explain some of the reasons. I have some big things going on at the moment, another of which is my daughter, and she'll be receiving her school captain's badge. Probably as you're watching this video, I'll be there feeling very proud of my daughter collecting her badge. So I'll be with Talia and sending you good wishes anyway. By way of acknowledgement, can I just offer you this? I've had the great privilege of exploring my grandfather's language, Tarabalang language, and so I offer you this comment by way of opening and acknowledgement. Nai bugi galana gan nulam dani balalum dali marbanu da nulamu. I come in goodwill. Stay strong on your land, you mob. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, this land is yours. And in keeping with that acknowledgement, let me also offer this in your language. E oku tiena, e oku tuahine, e harere tahi tātou ia tātou, ki atu tahi tātou mo a tātou tamariki. My brothers, my sisters, let us walk together and let us stand for our children. I thank you for letting me bring this message to your conference. E iti noa ana, ne ta Aeoteroa. In 2015, I met the Prime Minister of Australia, Malcolm Turnbull, at the grand final, and it was the grand final, Cowboys versus the Broncos. No need to relive all of the moments, but some of you will know that the Cowboys won that game. But interestingly, I had a moment to meet the Prime Minister, and I introduced myself and said good day to him. And he asked me, he said, Chris, what are 3 things that we can do to make a difference on the Indigenous policy landscape? It's a very complex question. And I said to him, I have an answer for you, but I'll get back to you. Some years later, I was appointed as the co-chair of the Prime Minister's Indigenous Advisory Council. And it is a great honour that I get to speak with him directly on such matters. So coming back to the 3 things he asked me about, I answered his question in the form of a Senate lecture. And the 3 things I said to him are this. I said, honour our humanity and our capacity to be exceptional as Aboriginal people and as Torres Strait Islander people. I said, bring us policy approaches that nurture hope within us rather than entrench despair. And the final and 3rd thing I said to him was, do things with us, not to us. Such simple yet profound messages. And thankfully, he's embraced those messages. I'm not suggesting for a moment that he's all the way there, but I like to think that the dialogue and the narrative is shifting in Australia. Again, I don't pretend for a moment that we are all the way there. Let me drill down on some of those things and explain to you. When I talk about honouring the humanity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and our capacity to be exceptional, what I mean here is a strengths-based approach, an approach that embraces us as high-caliber learners with great potential. We have things in Australia, and I'm sure you have your diagnostic tests in New Zealand, Aeoteroa, that will try to explain to us that our children are somehow in deficit compared to mainstream New Zealanders or mainstream Australians. And sometimes those tests will pretend to us that somehow we're the ones that are dumb, when we know that it's the diagnostic tests that are dumb. A diagnostic test does not have the capacity to measure the extent to which an Aboriginal child living in remote Australia can speak 3 languages before he or she even encounters English. Yet it will pretend that we are so far behind. When I talk about bringing policy approaches that nurture hope rather than entrench despair, I mean, let us know, come to us as if we are high potential learners, as if we have capacity, excite us, be prepared to embrace our culture as part of the solution and don't perceive our culture as part of the problem. Some years ago, when I moved away from Cherbourg to live in Caboolture, I met with the principal and I asked him, in the interest of finding a good school for my own children, Ezra, who was in year 4 at the time, and Talia, who was in year 1. I said to him, how would my children go in your school, being Aboriginal? How would that sit with you, and what are their chances at success, given that circumstance? He replied to me, he said, not a problem. And immediately I thought to myself, yeah, I know there's not a problem, but I'm starting to smell one. And then as he uttered his next words, I knew precisely that there was going to be a problem. He said, in our school, we're all Australian. We don't worry about those differences. We're all Australian here. Everybody's the same. And this is a problem because educators and other mainstream people have to see that our culture, our sense of identity, is not like a backpack that we can simply take off and leave at the school gate and pick up on our way home from school. And clearly, if we're told that we need to leave our sense of cultural identity at the school gate and walk around pretending that we are somehow detached from that, then clearly that's going to undermine our sense of being strong, having good mana, our sense of feeling good about ourselves. And any basic educator, any basic psychologist knows that when we are not feeling good about ourselves, it's very difficult to learn and be the best that we can be. It's very difficult to retain a sense of hope. And so schools must be a place that doesn't say to children, leave your identity at the school gate. They must say, bring your identity with you into the school because it has a valid place in here. We love your cultural identity and we want you to be the best Maori or the best Aboriginal or the best Torres Strait Islander student that you can be. And we perceive your sense of cultural identity as part of the thing that's going to take us to the journey towards excellence and being exceptional. The third point I mentioned to the Prime Minister was doing things with us, not to us. And as Dion and my colleagues over there will say, it's a message he's picked up and he's run with. Now, at the level of just rhetoric, that's a good thing. It's yet to find its way in terms of reality. And what it means simply is do things with us, not to us. As blackfellas, we want to have skin in the game. We're not afraid to be accountable or held to account for facing up to the challenges of transcending the problems that exist before us and enabling us to rise above those things. We're not afraid to be accountable, and in fact, we have the solutions. It's things like embracing an organisation like NATSIPA in Australia, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Principals Association, to be part of the conversation about how we proceed forward in education. I know some of these things seem so basic, but it really is about embracing our culture. Our culture is not the problem. It is an integral and fundamental part of the solution. Give our leadership skin in the game. It's a simple message, yet profound and true. Embrace our humanity and our capacity to be exceptional. Bring us policy approaches that nurture a sense of hope rather than those that will entrench despair. And do things with us, not to us. On those three things, we can find a way forward. And I share that with you, knowing that for Maori in New Zealand, I guess you will face the same challenges. In closing, again, I'm sorry that I could not be with you in person. I would have loved to be in that little Kerikeri airport, flying in to be greeted by such gorgeous faces. My friends, my colleagues, my brothers, my sisters, I leave you with those messages, and I wish you well for the remainder of this conference. We continue to pursue these challenges, knowing that we are making a difference in the lives of our children. My Maori brothers and sisters, I hope you don't mind me offering this proverb from your language. He waka eke noa, a canoe in which we are all together. He ora te whakapiri. There is strength in unity. Let us walk together, my brothers and sisters, and let us be the best that we can be, so that our children can be the best that they can be. Thank you.